If you, oh, perfect, perfect. If you are here as a panelist, if you're one of our um, Build Your Business alumni that we've kind of talked before, if you would just raise your hand, just hit click the raise hand, and that just keeps you guys at the top of my screen, so I can find you. Otherwise, when we get more people on the call, sometimes they jump around a little. It's hard to keep track of everybody. So just hit the raise hand and we'll get around to everybody then. I yes, this is one of my favorite calls. Just hearing people's stories and hearing what has happened for them, and I feel like it's really I hope it's encouraging to everybody, but it's also just fun for me to hear. So for the rest of you, if you have questions of our panel, we have four people up here as our on our panel, Lisa, Cindy, Julie, and Jenny. And if you have specific questions that you would like them to answer, if you want to go ahead and put those in the chat, and we'll just kind of either let them pick and choose, or we might just kind of chat about them all as a group as well. Yeah, we'll just kind of see how this goes and how the flow of it works. I'm remembering that I had a couple questions that I need to make sure I don't miss out on those here. Let me get my notes up again. This is always my danger here, that I would get going and totally forget that I had notes, which can happen. There we go. All right. So, let's just go through um let's see. Okay, there we are. I'm good now. All right. Lisa, you're first on my screen. If you don't wish to be first, that's okay. Cindy, and then Julie, and then Jenny is what I've got at the top here. Lori, I see you have your hand up. Have you been in Build Your Business before? I don't recall that. Maybe. I don't always remember everybody's name. But if you've got a question to ask too, that's actually totally okay. You can either put it in the chat, or we can, if this is a smaller crowd tonight, we can maybe do some unmuting and just talking back and forth too. So, all right, Lisa, would you mind unmuting and just tell us like what motivated you to want a business? What was that decision that made you go, I think I'm gonna need help. Like you're deciding to join the course, and then just kind of a little synopsis of what's happened since.
I know I'm a talker, so you may have to just say, okay, you can finish. Um,
We're good. We're
so,
good.
gosh, so many things were happening in my life when I decided to join Sassy Soapers. I was laid off my job, trying to decide if I go back in the workforce after 38 years of working as a nurse. And my son was in the military, and that's when he was in the Navy, and he was in a bad place in the world. And so it was just like I was asking God, what do I need? What am I going to do? What what do I need to do next really is this next phase of my life. So just thinking through how do I make those decisions. And I stumbled on Sassy Soapers. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do that for fun because I love education. And I started taking the class and I started making the soaps and they were turning out pretty good. I'm like, I haven't had a lot of fails. So I thought, okay, well, that's a good sign. And all my friends are bugging me, when are you going to go back to work? Because they were all still working. And I'm like, I took care of three aging parents until they passed. I was a nurse for 38 years. I'm just going to take this time for me. And it was the best decision. And then I decided, well, my next thing is to do what I want to do. I get a chance to, my kids are not here. And so I thought I'll start this business. So I just jumped in on the class and started taking the class. And so fast forward, so I love to do markets because I am a talker. I was a med surg nurse, and so we are the talker nurses, and love that, and easily paid back the money that I paid out, and now I can say I'm in two shops. So I'm in a retail shop, and I also do a wholesale shop. So so my next thing is, and I have to admit this, that I did lather to launch, and it was a total failure on my part because I blocked myself that I just couldn't do it. But so my goal, I know, Andrea, I have all of my passwords and all that stuff is okay. This year I'm really gonna do it because I know I can do it. I started this business, I'm making money, and so that's my story. And so now I've said it out loud so you can all hold me accountable to getting my Shopify account going.
Sometimes it just isn't the right time yet. And the neat thing about Lather to Launch is you have access to the stuff so you can, and build your business too. You've got access to it. You can go back and redo or get caught up from wherever you got hung up. I know we've had people in Build Your Business too. Not that same thing, but just like something happens and life takes a turn and they have to pause for a minute. And that's okay. You can always come back and pick up wherever that was. Awesome. So you said you're in two shops.
Two shops, and I do farmers markets, two a week.
Mhm.
One of them is took a break, which was kind of good because I've got some big shows coming up, and so I'm madly making soaps and getting ready because I haven't done big events. I know some of the other ones have, and I'm always envious that how can you make that many soaps? And but I'm going to do two big events in March and then September, and just see how that goes.
All right.
But I do
Awesome.
need a website, and because everyone's asking me about my website. All I have is
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah. So could you say just a little bit more about that? Like, how does that come about that people are asking you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because the girl next to me, it's funny because I always thought I would get goats and I would sell the meat. And then I met this lady and she's all gung ho and she's selling the meat. I'm like, I can't kill those little precious things. But we get together and so she's like really good on social media and all of it. And I think I've been helping her, with her going forth on her business. So everyone's asking, she's got her QR code out, and people are asking her, and I'm like, oh, and she takes my soap to talk at the 4-H clubs and those things. She takes my soap. She goes, Lisa, they're all asking for your website. So I've heard that enough. Okay, I get it. I have to be serious. So you really do need that. Now, it may not be big. Again, it doesn't have to be big to start. When they're sold out, they're sold out, right? And I
Mhm.
know there's a way that you can do all those steps because I did go through it the first time. But I just have to get back to that. So true confessions.
Yeah. I know we talked about it earlier, but there's been a lot of questions about inventory and how can I possibly keep up with the inventory? And I love what you've just said there. It doesn't have to start off big. You start off with what you have. And
Yeah.
if people want to get in there and buy it, they better be quick because there's not that many. And that's
Well, and
okay.
I
That's a fun
I made
dynamic.
so much money that I was able to buy some baker's racks. So
Mhm.
to be more efficient in my workflow, and make sure that I've got everything set up. So that was very helpful too. But I was making enough money to invest in myself. So,
Mhm.
and they're going to last a lifetime. They're from Uline. They're going to
Yep.
last forever.
That's awesome. All right. Thanks for sharing your story, Lisa. We'll probably come back to you as there are questions and things. So, Cindy, and then Julie.
Oh,
Oh, what'd you say?
hello.
Hello. Julie, I'll be coming to you next so you can kind of gather your thoughts a bit while while Cindy's talking. Again, if
Another
you could just
talker.
tell a bit of your like where were you before we met?
Mhm.
And then what promoted you? Sorry, prompted you to want to like make that decision to take the course, and then what happened past that?
Okay. When we met, I had a website for my farm. I was breeding and selling the kids. And suddenly it dawned on me. I had sort of played around and looked online about making soap, but I wasn't comfortable not seeing it done. And just reading about it. So I thought, well, I have all this milk that I'm not even milking the girls. I'm just letting them dry off after the kids go. Um, so I saw an ad on Facebook and jumped in and learned how to make soap. And I was like, wow, well, this is really cool. And then the Build Your Business came up. And the first time around, I was sort of like, yeah, I don't know. That's, and I'll be very honest. to myself, I said, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I can do that. Well, then talking with some of the graduates from that Build Your Business course and just hearing different things all over, I was like, oh, well, this is something I need to do. I need to invest in myself and I need to get a soap business going as opposed to a goat business. Um, so I joined Build Your Business, and it was probably the best thing I've ever done. In fact, it was the best thing I've ever done. I with my shows, my bigger shows, all of the money that I make right now goes to my girls. They're my employees. My first investment for them was a hard floor for their barn because we had a dirt floor. So I had a hard floor that I put in. I bought all the pieces and put it together. Then I got them stall mats to cover the whole thing, so it's all nice and rubberized and easy to clean. They got, let's see. Oh, they got a new outbuilding, a 13 by 20 outbuilding, so that I can grain them and they're not in the rain, and they're very happy about that. Um, they got a new milking house so that I'm not in the barn trying to milk them with babies jumping all over us and all that. A new milking stand, which was really cool. New stall walls, which they really appreciate. So do I when they kid. And last week I bought a hoof boss. I've always wanted a hoof boss for doing their hooves. So the things that what I'm doing right now is I'm putting back into my girls, and I am saving money to expand their barn. I'd like to double the size of it. So, and when I joined, I said I am not doing shows. I was a former Mary Kay. I am not doing shows. I'm sorry. That stinks. I'm going to do a web page. Well, I did my first show, and on the way home from that, I was like, this is fun. Even lugging all the stuff up a flight of stairs and back down at the end of the day because I was on the second floor. It was awesome. Last year I did 41 shows. And I'm already booked for a number of shows for this year because up here they start real early, they fill real early. So you have to be like right there. I have people coming to me and asking me to be in shows now because you get show shoppers, I call them. They're people that put craft shows together and they go shopping at other craft shows to see if there's anybody there that they'd like to have at their craft show. So I have had a number of my shows have come from show shoppers. Um, I love what I do. I learned a lot. Um, I learned how to manage my money better, which was key for me. Um, I put initial investments in. I had retirement money, and I just had lucrative. I had all this extra money, which I don't seem to have anymore. I don't know what I did with that. I think the goats ate it, is my theory. But I put it back into everything now. It doesn't just sit there anymore. It goes into things that I can actually work to sell or for my girls, things for my girls. I am in 3 stores in the area with a fourth at Christmas time. A fourth asked me to bring my lotions to their store. They sell someone else's soap, but the lotions, they tried my lotion and they were like, yeah, we'd like your lotion. So we'd like to have your lotion in the store. So that'll be happening in February. They open back up after the cold season and getting ready for snowmobile season. So, and this will be my third time through, fourth time through. I think it's fourth. I do think it's fourth, yes. And well, I'll wait because I think you were going to have people ask questions about why you would want to do it numerous times. And I'm sure everyone's got an opinion about that. And I've already talked enough.
No, I think we were just getting started here, Cindy. So I remember the first time we did Build Your Business where you didn't do it, I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, there, Cindy is such this great personality, and I really wish she was in the class. And then when the second time around came and you joined, I was so happy. So
It was worth it. It was worth it.
yeah,
It just, there's a sticker shock initially, and then you realize, and you did talk about it. If you do a couple good shows, you can't pay for it.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and now that I've been doing this for a few years, some of those shows would pay for a class in one day.
Hmm.
But it
Hmm.
takes it, you do have to build it up. It doesn't happen tomorrow, but you can get there if you put the time in.
Hmm. Absolutely. And again, it's hard to have that perspective before you take the class, but this is an investment in the business. And the business isn't just a lamp that you're putting beside your couch and now it's just there. You own it, but it's there. This is a tool that you're going to use to grow your business, and that's going to be making you money. And I enjoy the comments you're making about how you're putting money back into the goats. Could you just talk for just a second about why you're able to do that now and how that's different from before? I've heard you say this before, so I know there's a little story there.
Well, I never, I mean, I really didn't think about spending the money on the goats, quite honestly, until they started working for me. And now, they're employees. They deserve their bonus or whatever. Um, and I didn't really think about, I mean, I love my goats and I take care of them and they have nice quarters and all that, but I didn't really think about giving them extra nice things. Um, and I just now I have the ability and the funds because of them, strictly because of them, to be able to give back to them. And I mean, I think that was where I was coming from before too. There's a gray area here now.
Well, if I remember just the timing of that a little bit, we were in the Build Your Business class and we had just gone through the money section, or we had done that in the past. And I remember you coming on one call, and I don't remember how long it was after that, but you said, I finally have enough money saved up that I can go out and make improvements, where I assume that wasn't the case before.
No, didn't know how to manage my money. It was all going in my personal checking account and all coming out of my personal checking account. And I didn't know how to do it. And there is a module in Build Your Business that teaches you and works with you on your finances so that you actually you're paying yourself, your openings, profit sharing, even if it's only 10 cents, you start your profit sharing, and you have money that you can set aside for improvements and those kinds of things. So suddenly, when I was splitting my money up in this bank, then I suddenly had the money to be able to say, oh, I can go and I can buy, new stall walls after
Mhm.
this show. And, I did you do some transfers during the month, did my transfers and I had all this money. And I'm like, well, I don't need that for supplies right now. So that means it goes right into the goats. So you do learn how to manage your money, and there's a sweet bank that you're using that just you can do anything with them, and they're awesome to work with. They really are. Um, so that is another piece of have build your business. You're also learning to finance how your financing in your business goes also. It's not just sell, 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 spend, spend, spend. It's
Mhm.
actually doing some financial planning also.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was part of our story as well, where we spent years and the money was coming in, but it was just like running through the business. It didn't leave really any marks anywhere. And I remember my husband saying to me, "This is all great. are we making any money at this? And I went, of course we're making money. There's plenty coming in. He's like, well, yeah, okay. Where is it? I'm like, I don't know. It's around here somewhere, you know? And and I remember just feeling like I didn't know how to plan. I didn't know how to look forward with the money in my business. All I could do was look back and see what I had done. And this whole system is very it's very different, but it's also very helpful as you are
Yes.
trying to figure out how you can spend your money. And I suspect it before you may have had the money to do improvements for your goats, but you didn't know it. And this is just helping us figure that out.
It defines it a little more
Right.
clearly for
Right.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Cindy.
you're welcome.
All right, Julie, would you like to tell us a little bit of your story? Again, like how did you get started? What made you join the business class? And then what's happened since then? And before you get started, if there's anyone else, if there's any other like panel members who have taken Build Your Business previously who would like to share, if you would just raise your hand, it brings you to the top of the screen so I know that you're here and you're ready to share. It's in the React buttons at the bottom of the screen. You hit react and then raise your hand is in there. So you can just go ahead and click that and then we'll make sure everybody gets to share who's here to tell your story. Okay, Julie, go ahead.
Okay, so my story started off, I always wanted to learn how to make soap. And I worked and I had kids, and so that was not a possibility. I already had goats because they were my lawnmowers. And then uh, I retired after 30 plus years as a nurse, like Lisa. And I had been retired for just a little bit. And I go, I can't do this. And so I was just flipping through Facebook one day and came across Sassy Soper's ad, about, learn how to make soap. And I go, let me do this. And I was visiting with some grandchildren at the time and getting ready to leave, but I was there long enough that I could, I took the initial course and that was all good. I got on an airplane, I came home, and that sat around for a while. And then I saw it again. I go, let me do something about it this time. And so I took the course again and started making soap. And then I gave it away to some friends at Christmas. And they go, oh, we like this. And I got some orders from my friends that I had given soap to. And family members were liking it also. And I just go, I got a lot of soap starting to build up. And what am I going to do with all this soap? Do I have enough friends and family to give it away to? And then there was the thing about I was having some other friends. I belong to a bee group because I also have bees. And they were selling some products and stuff. And one of the ladies in charge said, why don't you sell your soap? And do you make lotion, by the way? And so I had to go find out. No, I don't make lotion, but I can find out about it. And so then I took the lotion class and learned how to make lotion. And my first batch of lotion was pretty thick, and I was trying to jam it into the container. That didn't work very well, but I learned, and so I got better at it. And I sold soap and lotion. I didn't have a whole lot on my display because after taking the craft show success, but I made some money and I go, oh, I kind of like this. This will, and then Build Your Business came along and I go, this could be a business. No, I used to sell snacks. We had vending machines for many years and I go, I think I could do this. And all of a sudden, I had money to be able to put into my business. And that's how I started. And I've just been going now for a couple of years. And I'm not real big. I decided, uh, I'm not going to be real big. I'm going to just do this kind of slowly. So I still sell to family and friends. and local farmers markets, and my name's getting out there. I'm getting maybe that's because of my daughters. My daughters like my soap, and whenever they get a chance, they have raided my racks of soap, and they give it away to their friends. And so it's started getting my name out there and the soap out there, and they all seem to really like it. And I'm excited. And I've been doing farmers markets for a couple years now, and I have a lot of repeat customers that I noticed this year, and they're putting my name out there too. Whenever I see them and they're at the farmers market, they come to the farmers market, they're saying, "Oh yeah, I like this is my favorite soap. I really like this one." And one of the ladies has eczema, and it's helped her eczema, and she puts that word out there for me. I don't have to say a word.
I think that is one of the neatest things. I think it's almost like a marker that your business is now starting to go somewhere because if when people come back, it means they remember you, they remember your product, and that starts to feel like, okay, I've got some traction at this show or in this community or whatever. I feel like that's a lot of fun. We've been to
Yeah,
a couple new shows this year where there wasn't that, and oh my goodness, does it that really makes a difference.
yeah. One of my friends recently talked to me about meeting up with another one of her friends who has a lavender farm and does shows with that. And she's trying to get us connected. And so I may be going to other shows. Who knows? But uh, as for my online business, it's not really huge. I have uh, some repeat customers on my online, but mostly people just personally contact me whenever they need something.
Sure. All right. Well, I love just the again saying it doesn't have to be big. You don't have to go out with a bang here. You can just take it at your own pace, and sometimes life determines what that pace is, and sometimes there's other things that factor in. But I love that
Yeah,
just
I
the reality that you get to decide.
yeah I had a a little life event last year that kind of slowed things down for me, and I had to take care of family, and so that kind of uh, made me do some reevaluation, and I decided, I don't want to spend maybe a whole weekend at a show 100 miles away. I'm fine staying close to home and a one-day show on a Saturday, or if it's a Friday and a Saturday, I'll do a Friday and a Saturday, or if there's something in the middle of the week, I could do that.
Hmm.
I, I'm setting my own pace and doing what I want to do for what's good for me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Julie, and just giving us a little peek into your business and your decisions along that line. And so glad you're along for the ride.
Yeah, and if I didn't take Build Your Business, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I would be probably not doing anything.
Mm. That's sometimes just having the knowledge, but also having those little check-ins every once in a while just helps
Yeah,
moving along.
it helps a lot.
Julie, I'm going to come back to you in a little bit. I remember now that someone was talking about licensing and other questions there, specifically in California. But let's get the other stories told, and then we'll come back and ask you that one.
Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, Paula, I see that you're here. Can we take a minute and we'll just let you unmute if you'd like, and just give us a little bit of your story, what brought you to Sassy Soapers and to build your business and kind of where are you at now? Let's see.
I got
There you go.
it. Did you do that?
No, you did. You're good.
Well, I'm definitely one that knows that I'm not techie. And I have been so busy in my life. I raised my children, my grandchildren, And it was just a lot for me, you know. And so when I started doing soap, a friend of mine, my neighbor, she asked me, did I want to learn how to make soap? I said, sure. So we did one class with this person, and I thought oh, I could do this. And I made my soap. I was really disappointed that you had to wait to take it out of the mold and then wait another 6 weeks to use it. It was terrible. But anyway, and then I was making soap, but I was making a lot of mistakes. I didn't understand the chemistry. I didn't understand it. And then I found you, and you were like a savior. I was like, oh, thanks. Because I was wasting so much stuff, and that stuff's expensive. So, um, so I've been making soap and I like it. It's calming, it's peaceful. And now I have tons of soap, and then the business course came, and I don't think I was ready for it, you know, but I'm glad I started it. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Another thing is, um, I had to teach myself a lot of uh, computer stuff, you know. So I'm still, if you see me on Facebook, I still don't even have a picture in there when I'm talking. It's just me. So, and then I do have um, a QR code, but if you went to it, there's nothing there. And I did start my Facebook, business Facebook, and it kind of got on hold because I'm working on that website thing. So uh, that's where I'm at.
Lots of pieces to get together.
Yeah, but I
Have you
would,
sold soap?
oh yeah, I had one craft show. It was just a little one. And oh my gosh, I had a blast, and people were asking me. They bought my soaps, and uh, uh, and then I got a lot of feedback on that. And they're still buying soap and
Mm-hmm.
stuff from me, and just little bits though.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to try to get into this little craft shop right here in my little town. Uh, but I have to have a website.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
That's a
I'm
requirement of getting into the store?
that's
Okay.
just the craft shop thing. But I
Okay.
am also in the local depot little store in town. So
Okay.
I don't make a lot of money, but I'm slowly getting there. But I love it. I
Sometimes a
love
lot
it.
of different pieces can really add up in the end. You're working on a lot of things, but a lot of different avenues can really help kind
Yeah.
of broaden out the business, I guess.
But this Build Your Business is so informative. There's everything you need in that
Mhm.
class. So be ready.
Yeah. We're gonna hit it with a bang here and yep. Thank you. Thank you, Paula, for sharing that and just giving us a little bit of your peek inside your world there. Jenny, you're the last one I see here with your hand up. So can you
Yeah,
again, same questions there, like what made you where were you before the class? As far as like joining Build Your Business, what was that thing that made you say, yes, this is what I want to do, and then what's happened since?
absolutely. So whenever I started making goat milk soap, very similar to everyone else, you start having a lot of inventory, you really enjoy it, you want to make more, and it has to have an outlet. I joined Build Your Business. It was paced perfectly for me. It was really fantastic support. I was able to get all the pieces checked off my to-do list and truly get a business up and running quickly, which is really critical. I'm actually in a Facebook group for women over 40 in my area. I reached out recently asking for some small business mentorship to see if anyone was willing to share some insight, so I can continue to grow my business. And I had 5 different women reach out and offer support. And each one of them would ask me things like, do you already have, your LLC? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I was like, yep, yep, yep. All those things are checked off and done. And so many people were impressed by how far along I was so early in the process. I did Build Your Business for the first time last year. So I'm, just now 1 year into owning that business. And it does take a long time for some people to uncover some of the things you're required to do, find the right answer, because there's all kinds of things you can find on Google that lead you down the wrong path. So it was really valuable information that got everything done. The workbook that we went through was ridiculously thorough. I cannot tell you how many times I have gone back and referenced my notes in there. It happens often. I have uh, written down my different numbers and account numbers and whatnot in the book, and whenever I don't know where else I put it, that's where it is. So it truly created a handbook. And then going into Lather to Launch and being able to create my website was huge. Being able to hand out my business card, to be able to say you can buy my product. I do porch pickup, and then I do live events as well. And between Build Your Business and Lather to Launch, I truly achieved all the goals I had for the first year. I was able to get into the very large and prestigious farmers market that's in my area. Did a number of dates there and filled every weekend from the start of October until the weekend before Christmas, to keep myself ridiculously busy over the holiday season. And it was a really great success. I owe a lot of that to both of those courses to get me there. There's no way I would have had any of that checked off my list within the first year.
So this is something I talked about it yesterday because I was having a conversation with Paul yesterday morning, and he made the comment something about money you can make back, time you can never get back. And I feel like your story is a great example of, like you said, I would never be here now if it weren't for the courses. Well, then can you give us just, it can be just like a yes or no question, but like, have you, like at this point, then have you paid off the courses?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. So then at this point now, you're at the very least break even, probably ahead. And if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't have made any of that money. So you would actually be behind where you are right now. And that is math that is really hard to appreciate until you're in it, until you
Mm-hmm.
realize that, oh, wait, it's not that I have to pay this money and then it's a hard stop. It's like a revolving door. Yeah, you pay the money out, but it's coming back in as well. And if you can get that door to spin fast enough, you're gonna get ahead in this as well. So,
Exactly.
all right, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I also love the fact that you have like 5 different women who have affirmed that you have gone down a good path, that you've gone the right direction. Like that almost feels good to me.
Yeah,
Like, ooh, like we're doing well, yay. So, but I love the fact that that's real time confirmation that, yeah, that you're in a good spot and that you've done good. You've done good work.
definitely. Thank
Yeah,
you.
awesome. Okay, um, there are a couple questions. I think, Cindy found the ones that were for her. They wanted to know what was behind you. I'd like to know what that chicken picture is behind you. Actually, I haven't seen that before. Oh, where she's gonna go get it. Oh, there. See? They are chickens. I thought so.
It's a shower curtain.
Oh, okay. And that, oh my word, there you go.
There's my soap.
Yep. All the soaps. Awesome. Is that to keep the dust off?
Keep the dust and the dog fur, yes. I have 2
Ah,
long coat shepherds.
okay.
Yeah.
That is a great idea, actually.
Yes.
Get those covered and keeping them like out of the sun too is a good call.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, let's go back around. There's a couple questions here about what all do you make? Like what all do you take when you go to a show? And I think everybody Let's just go back through the cycle again. Lisa, let's bounce back to you. What all like what's your variety of products?
So yeah, I was just making soap, but then again with the time factor, because I was selling out. And so I started making little lotion bars just because I was just running out of time. But I am gonna get the lotion recipe since I have it because people want the lotion. And I bought your special. You had a special on your website for 6 little jars, and it was like that motivated me because I was giving those away for Christmas. I thought so. I was telling my friends now. This is what it's gonna be like when I do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's all I do at this point. I mean, I could do other things, but I mean, I'm busy making soap. So,
And if that's what your market wants, there is nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
Oh yeah,
Broaden
it
out.
sells.
I mean, broadening out your product base, that might be like an attractor to other people. And it might also be a distraction for you because if everybody's coming to you for the soap, gosh, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you feel like you need to broaden out, that's fine, but you don't have to. That's a
And
choice.
I didn't want it to be stressful. It's like,
Right.
okay, this is my business. If I'm
Mhm.
stressed, then I'm not gonna be enjoying it as much. So that's
Exactly.
I don't need to make a million things, but
I just want to touch for a second. So we put lotion in 6 little 2-ounce pots, and then we bought a special box to put it in with little shreds and stuff, and we had our sticker on the front. It was like a little clamshell thing that had a little bow, little ribbon that tied it together at one end. And that idea was born out of a craft show. We went to a craft show and it was in our town. We have like 700 people in our town. So it is a teeny tiny town. But I also have a very loyal customer base there because they all know me. So this one lady came around and she is a kind of a high profile figure in the town. And she came and she said, I had this idea. I'm giving gifts to all my family, and it's a bunch of different things. But I was wondering if you ever did something like this. And she described this little lotion box. And she goes, I would like to custom order 20 of those for my family. I'm like, absolutely. We don't make it, but we do now. I will go get on that. And as we're making them, I'm like, well, shoot, this is dumb. She just gave me the idea. We're going to make 20 more and sell them ourselves. And that has really been, I mean, you talk about going to craft shows and it being like good for my soul. Everybody's complimenting my projects, this or my products. This feels so great. But you might also get a lead on a different show, or you might get, a tip from the neighbor person you talk to, or you might get an entirely different product idea because somebody came and asked you about it. So all these things kind of like work together. It's like one big gear that starts to roll. And once you get going in a couple different spots, pretty soon you've got a lot going on. So,
and it gave me the different scents to choose from. Because if I'm making a whole bunch of the same scent, that was just a great way of just having. And then they can once I start making them, then they can make like the little testers, so you're
yep.
not using a lot. So
Hmm.
figuring out anyway.
Absolutely. All right, Cindy, what all do you make? What do you take to your shows? What's the variety there?
Okay, I take a lot of stuff, and I want to say right up front, I'm actually cutting out some of my things at some of the shows because I feel that too many things causes a lot of confusion for the individuals who are shopping. They just get overwhelmed. But I make soap, lotion, dish soap sets, um, laundry soap, lip balms.
Look
Uh,
around. You'll find it
yeah,
all.
beard beard oil, shaving kits for men's shaving soap, shampoo, um, rollers, perfume rollers or scent rollers with oils. Um, and I think that's about it. Oh, and I make with my lotion, I make the little hand. Um, you can see them here, hand size. And I have decided that those are going to be a limited edition for the holidays only because right now I'm running a 25% off everything in stock sale because I'm going to end up giving this to the probably the elderly center or what do they call it? Rehab center in town or in the next town over. for the residents there. It's either that or throw it out
Right.
because you've got the shelf life. So any lotions that are left over after the end of this month will likely be going to the nursing home. That's what I was trying to think of, the nursing
Mhm.
home in the next town over. So the residents will have some nice lotion.
And you know
Um,
what? That's not a bad thing either. I mean, at
it
that
isn't.
point, you lose a little bit of money with giving that away, but we do some stuff with the food pantry in our church,
Yes.
and just thinking, you know what? I want them to have really nice stuff. You know, they might
Mhm.
not always, and yeah.
And that's true. That's true. And I mean, I don't want to throw it away. I did Christmas scents one year and I will never do that again, ever, because I threw so many of those away and they
Mm-hmm.
were the 8-ounce bottles.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not even the contents, it's the price of the bottles, was
Hmm.
killing me. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I have decided there can be too many things on your table.
Hmm. There
Um,
can be.
yeah, so I'm going to pick my best sellers, and that will be, you know, the soap and lotion obviously are big. Lip balms, people buy those. Oh my God. They love those things. And then
Hmm.
the rollers for the kids,
Yep.
little girls. Um, and probably that's about it. Other than my men's line, I do have the men's stuff. But yeah, I got to get rid of some of the stuff. I stopped with those silly what are those explosions in the bathtub there? Bath
Oh,
bombs.
bath bombs.
Oh my God. I got what you said about hating to make them. Oh my
Oh,
God.
if there's someone out there who loves making them, then you just need to make that your business, because I am swearing off of bath bombs forever. They're
I am too.
horrendous.
They disintegrate no matter how you package
Yes,
them. They
yes,
fall apart. They're
yes.
nasty. They're just horrible to work with. And I ended up giving a whole bag of them at my one of my holiday shows this year. I had about 10 left and I was so sick of them and they looked so pitiful. And I just said, "Do you have any kids in your family?" to the vendor next to me and she's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, good. Here. Have some bath bombs." I said, "There's good for boys, girls, whatever. Just take them and take them off my table."
And
So,
that's a really good example though of even your products are going to start to reflect you. And there is not right or wrong in that. Just because Cindy makes whatever does not mean you need to make whatever. You need to do what works for you and what the people around you want, but also what you enjoy doing. Because I've said this in Build Your Business before. I despise making bath bombs. Now, my daughter likes making them, so I might have a few around, but it's only because someone else stepped in and made them for me. So, anyway. Okay, we need to move on to another couple questions. So I'm going to hit Julie and Jenny. I'll come back to you in just a second. Um, well, I was going to say something else. Oh, yes. Cindy was talking about having too much stuff. And I do feel like that is a possibility, even in the soap sense. And this is maybe a mistake that's made early on, is that you feel like I'm going to a show. I must have 50 different soap scents. And what I've seen with customers is they'll come along and I feel like a customer can smell about 15 to 20 soaps before they get overwhelmed. And if they get overwhelmed, they're going to walk away from your booth and not buy anything. So you might actually be better off at a craft show with 6 soap scents. That would be really small. But you might be better off with just a few than with feeling like you have to have so many and then all of a sudden people are getting overwhelmed. So this is the kind of conversation that we have inside Build Your Business. And also learning that, you know what? Don't make Christmas scented lotion. What? Everybody makes Christmas scented lotion. No, don't do that, because you're going to throw a bunch of it away. And so these are all the little tips that, like, inside the business course, you might be saving money because you're saving time. You also might be saving money because you're getting these tips and you're learning from the other people who have done it before, and you're not wasting a bunch of product when it comes to holiday time. So there's a lot of little pieces here that can be little benefits that maybe you didn't realize were coming around, that are going to help you and your business and just help you, get all those pieces together. Okay. Let's see. I did that question. So I've seen a couple other questions, and Julie, I want to come back to you. I would like you to do the licensing question. I don't know if that person is here or not, but somebody in the Facebook group was just saying, I want to talk to somebody who has done all the licensing steps and just ask them like, how is that possible? Like, what do you need to know as you're getting started with that? And you're kind of representing all the states that require more licensing, but I know you've gone through it in California.
Okay, so in California, it all depends on what model your business model you're going to do. So if you decide you're going to do a sole proprietorship, your license is in your county. So that's where you get your business license. If you decide to do an LLC, your licensing is through the state controller's office or the attorney general's office in that. I'm a sole proprietorship right now. And so I'm licensed in my county, though I also, because we're talking also about tax things, if I go to a different county, you also have to uh, work with, it's the California Tax and Duty, something like that. I'd have to look it up. I can't remember the exact name, but so if whatever amount of money you sell in a certain county, whatever their tax percentage is, because every county in the state of California doesn't have the same tax percentage. They all have maybe special bonds or stuff, or one will be, the state is about 7.25%, but a lot of other counties are maybe 9 or 10%, or 7.5%. So whichever county that you're selling in, the amount of money that you have to keep track of how much you sold in that county, because then you have to send uh, taxes. I only have to do it once a year, uh, which comes up at the end of this month. So all of last year, I have figured out which county, how much because I've gone to different things in other counties around me. So however much my gross sales were times whatever the percentage in that county is on the state tax form, it gets allocated to that county. And so all the different counties adds up at the end, and then you pay to the state however much you have to, whatever your amount adds up to.
Could you
So
speak to a little bit about like getting licensed? Because I know you had to have some different licensing than most everybody else in the class needed.
what I had, it was just forms that I had to fill out in the county. Now there is a website. The state has I have to remember who that is because I did this so long ago.
Mm.
You can, I think it is the state attorney general's office, and you can go on the website and put in the business model, whichever business model that you're wanting to do. If it's the sole proprietorship, it will walk you through what you need to do in order to do it. It has a checklist, a checkbox that you can just print off that paper and check all of the boxes uh, for that business model. So if you have a fictitious business name, you have to post it in the paper for so many weeks. If then you also have to take that information to the county and have them verify it. And then they will issue you a permit, a seller's permit within the county so that you're permitted to sell. So, but also because if you're selling in other counties, you also have to go to the state website. It's a use tax, and you have to enter in your business name and your your permit number, and then so that the state knows that you are a business, and so that you can give the state its amount of money that it wants you to give them
Sure.
for the taxes.
I
It's a whole
suspect
different,
that, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's a whole different animal if you decide to do an LLC. And I can't talk to that because I decided I'm not big enough yet, I think, to do an LLC, but I'm getting close to that. And so maybe in another year or two, I may be jumping into that side of it. So
Sure.
I could speak to that then, but I'm not ready to talk about that part. But I could talk to you about a sole proprietorship.
Sure. It seems like what I've heard from you and from others is that if you're living in a state, and the ones that I can think of right now are California, Connecticut, Florida, Louisiana. There might be more than that. Those are the four I can think of right now. But if you live in a state where you know that there's going to be licensing questions, or you know that there's going to be some extra pieces to get through, we've seen people navigate those issues, and it just typically means, like Julie said, there's more forms to fill out. There's more things you have to, or more places you have to go to get permission or to get your permit or whatever. But it typically is not impossible. It's just a little bit more details you have to deal with. So if you come up to a spot where you go, oh, wait, uh, nah, I'm gonna need a license for this or for whatever. Just start working through the form, working through the paperwork, take it one piece at a time. And it seems like it is doable. It's just maybe not as slick as it is in some of the other states. Okay, Jenny, I've got a question for you then. One of the questions that I saw in the Facebook group was, how do you make time for your business? And I know you've got other things going on in the background too. So how do you, and I think the question was kind of if I jump into Build Your Business and I'm taking a class and I'm building a business, how am I going to keep the soap production up, or, the other stuff? So how is that, like, how do you balance all of that?
Sure. So I think it's all about scheduling. I mean, especially anybody who has kiddos probably knows the calendar on the wall and who's taking who to soccer practice type of approach. I make a calendar schedule for my soap making because obviously with the 6 week time frame I need to make sure I'm achieving the volume I need for certain events. And then the build your business piece or any of the other courses, essentially I go ahead and I schedule that time into my day. And you want to give yourself some time to do the tasks as well. And I think that sort of time blocking, using the concept of time blocking and saying, on Friday night from 6 to 7 before I, cook dinner, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on these things and stick to it. I think it's really easy to overwhelm yourself if you wait too long or if you wait to the end of the week to look at something and then think, oh my gosh, I've got to watch the replay and I've got to do the tasks and all these different things. But just pace yourself and give yourself grace also when you get behind, because you're only chasing your own dream, right? There's nothing that someone's out there holding you accountable necessarily as far as, why didn't you achieve this? The group keeps you moving forward, but telling yourself, hey, if you didn't get this done this time, that's all right. Time block yourself something next week. Figure out when you can do it. Do you have a vacation? That's all right. Build your vacation in, figure it out. Don't overwhelm yourself, and then continue on from there.
I think that, and we talk about this in Build Your Business as well, but just the consistency is more important than the size of the project you get done. Like if you can make a
Absolutely.
little bit of soap every week, you're going to be fine. If you think I'm going to make a whole lot of soap and then it's 6 months till you do it again, that's a problem. Like those dips and waves are hard to ride out. But just being consistent, and like you said, having grace for yourself, that if it doesn't happen this week, it's okay. Get to it next week. It's still going to be okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I also love your calendar. The wall I'm facing actually has a ginormous calendar all over it.
Yes.
Yes. And my kids they're adults. They're on their own. I don't have to navigate their stuff. So it's all just me. But yeah, having that big space to help keep you organized, that's really, really helpful too.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Cindy, I'm going to come back to you with one question here in the chat.
Yes.
Denise is saying, it's a longer piece, but basically she's saying she already has a business. She already has her accounting worked out, lots of knowledge on business, wants to know if this could still be good for her. And I know that you're our panel member here who had a business before you got into Build Your Business. So could you just speak to like was it worth it? What did you like, just to give it from your perspective there?
It definitely is worth it. I'm not sure what your current business is, but mine, as I said, was I bred and sold my goats, unregistered, so they weren't high ticket dollar values or anything like that. But opening a second business really was beneficial. It you have the ability, depending on what your other business is, you have the ability to go out to do shows and that kind of thing, where, with my other business, I wasn't going out with goats. I mean, I do now to the shows. But it's a little perk. But you have the ability to go out and actually, so to speak, drum up business at these shows. And it for me it was very worth it. I had a website which was not the best. It wasn't necessarily a retail website, and they did add a retail piece on it after I initially signed up with them years ago. But it just wasn't a good retail site. So moving over to Shopify was like 1,000 times better. I absolutely adore Shopify. Um, but definitely, even if you have a business now, if you can join it together. I know we've got a couple other people here that have business or alumni that aren't on the call tonight that have a couple different businesses going, and their soap business, still is doing well. So it is worth going out for another business. All I did was LLC both businesses. And then, I really built my soap business because that's my baby.
Mhm.
The goats are my baby
So,
too.
yeah, the second half of the question says that she was thinking of just adding a few bars of soap to their current offerings. Ooh, I got to go up and see if I can figure out what that is. Hold on.
Where's yeah, I'm looking
I
for
have
it.
a farm and already have a business and a website
Okay.
go to farmers markets and have my accounting all worked out.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the other offerings are, but she says, but now I'm starting to think about how it would be to try and build it bigger and as a standalone business. And I know that was like you were thinking you would add soaps to your current business, and then all of a sudden it went. Can you like tell that a little bit of that?
Yeah, yeah, that's a real difficult thing to do to a current business, especially if it's not exactly the same kind of stuff. I had a problem trying to set up all the soaps, and all the products were so different from the other item I was selling that it wasn't working smoothly at all. Plus, people were looking at the farm site thinking I only did animals. I didn't have enough of the soap business going out there. And in all reality, running two businesses is not all that much harder than running one, to be really honest with you. I think, okay, so you must be licensed if you're working at farmers markets. Are you selling food at farmers markets?
Denise Lyons, this is.
I'm trying
There
to.
we go.
Oh,
There we go. Way at the bottom. She produces produce, jams, and jellies, flavored salts, dried fruits, etc.
okay. You might want to have two separate businesses there. Those are not quite close enough to be able to blend them. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. But I have to say, I go to one show where there's a really wonderful young lady there that does permanent jewelry, and she does candles. Those don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what show she does, she either sells candles or she sells permanent jewelry. It's
Mm-hmm.
not they don't blend together well. Those are two things that, and I feel bad for her because she's just trying to do two things that she really loves. But if she had two different businesses, it probably would be easier for her to just have, her spouse or whoever do one table and she could do the other.
Mhm.
So
And it gives you the opportunity to kind of gauge which is going better too, if they're disassociated that way.
yes,
Um, because I feel like I remember from your story, Cindy, that you were just like thinking the soap would complement your goat business, and then
yes,
all of a
yeah,
sudden the soap went, psh, and you're like,
yeah.
wait
The
a
soap,
second, never mind the goat business. There are no
yeah,
employees, and we're gonna do this instead.
exactly. I mean, I thought that was the perfect segue to just
Hmm.
add the soap onto the goat business, and it just wasn't. It was just too different. And I'm not in it when I sell my goats. I'm not in it to make money. Many of my goats I sell for $50, just as long as I know they're getting a decent home.
Hmm.
Um, I need the milk, and my
Right.
girls, um, so it didn't work as smoothly as I thought it was going to initially. So it was much better when I finally separated them out. Um, and I kept the farm page on the old platform that I was using and just opened up a Shopify for the soap business. And
Hmm.
it bloomed. And
Yeah.
I have more abilities with the Shopify site. I mean, I have email blasts that I can send out much easier than my former site. I don't do any email blasts on that for the farm site. I do everything on Facebook, my Facebook business account for that one.
And
So
Shopify is intended for e-commerce, which means you're selling actual physical products online, and that's what they do. So
yes,
it's really a great tool for that.
it is. It is.
Okay, we're just over an hour, so I want to just jump through one more thing. I would like each of you to just respond to the question of like, was it worth it? Like, did you think it was worth it? And let's just go back to Lisa, and we'll just scoot through you guys again. It makes sense on my screen because you're in that order. So we'll start with Lisa. We'll just go back through, but before you jump in to do that, I know on the last call I said that we were going to do one more giveaway on this call. After the call, we all got our heads together and talked and decided that we decided to give, instead of giving it to one person who was here live, we're giving the giveaway we were going to do to everybody who joins one of our business packages this today. It's a Saturday only deal. So we are giving $200 off anybody who purchases either the gold or the VIP or the VIP alumni. So any of those, if you purchase one of those business packages today, you get $200 off. We just decided that we would rather give everybody that discount who's going to jump in and join us rather than just picking one person off the call. So the code is in the chat there. It just says Saturday only. If you put that in when you're purchasing your bundle, you'll get $200 off of that price. So we just wanted to give you an extra little, okay, today's the day. This is the day to make this decision and to jump in and give this a go. So let's go back to Lisa. Was it worth it? And then also just what words of encouragement would you give to people on the call or who are catching it later, who are just on the fence yet, they don't quite know? What would you
Mm.
tell them?
Yeah, it was totally worth it because when I was in the corporate world, I had this permanent knot in my shoulder, which has totally gone away. I had
Mm,
I had to get regular massages because I was so stressed. And well, when I first started the class, I also built a labyrinth on my property. So I was all about being zen and calm. And it's just been amazing. And the biggest thing for me is just that my kids are proud of me. They're like, this is so cool, mom. They get my flub up soaps, but yeah, they want them and they give them to their friends and everyone's excited. So they're proud of me. And I'm showing them that, there is life after, as you get older, you just figure it out and you don't have to just sit on the couch and watch TV.
right, right. Awesome. Cindy, what would you say to others who are thinking and is it worth it? And what are your words to everybody here?
personally think it was worth every penny, and I'm very glad that I did it. And I keep coming back every year. So obviously there's something good here. Um, you keep learning. Yeah.
Could you answer that question? Why do
Yes.
you do it every year? We
I
haven't come
come
back to
back
that
every
yet.
year
Mhm.
because it's new people with new ideas, and you hear different stories, and it gives you, I mean, we all share different information, and it's just nice to be able to glean all these new fresh ideas after you've been doing something the same way for the last year, and all of a sudden you have someone come in and say, oh, well, what about doing this? And it's like, whoa, yes. So it's
Mhm.
fresh idea
Mhm.
I that you're getting, and it just, to me, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. And I enjoy hearing the stories and seeing everyone go through too.
Lisa
And
says it's like a support group. Yes.
yes, it is.
Yes. And I think that's a piece we haven't really talked about yet, but the camaraderie inside Build Your Business every year is just it's amazing what can happen. It's almost like boot camp in the military, where those guys come out like they have been in the trenches together and they are fast friends. And I think that for the people who are doing Build Your Business, especially over and over, these are people who like text and call each other behind the scenes. I mean, they're friends outside of this circle as well. And it's just because you're doing the exact same thing. You're there to cheer each other on. You're also there to listen when somebody has a woe is me tale of this horrible person who told me these awful things at this show, and everybody laughs and says, "What a jerk," you know? So you sometimes you just need those people to help you call it out and just get you back, talk you back from the ledge and just say, you know what? They are a jerk. It's okay. You're fine. Keep going.
I actually had lunch with Joyce in Connecticut when I was in
Hey.
Connecticut for one of my visits. So Joyce and I got together. So, and that's someone that I met through Sassy Soapers. And it was so awesome to actually sit, and for like 2.5 hours, we just sat and talked. It was
That is so
wonderful.
fun.
So
So
you
fun.
do meet people. You make
Hmm.
new friends in unexpected places.
And I feel like there's some people in the chat even tonight who are planning a little meetup in Southern something here, Southern Missouri. I don't remember where it was, but I think we should all go, crash their party here and we all show up. All right, Julie, what would you tell the people here? Was it worth it? And what would you tell them if they're still making that decision? What would you tell someone in that position?
I think I could probably say ditto to what Lisa and Cindy said. Absolutely. I've taken this class several times now, and not because, yeah, because one, I needed something to keep me going. Two, people, like Cindy said, new ideas to help you get out of your funk, whatever you're in, and just to, you know, have that, yeah, that camaraderie. I've got some new friends. I have new friends all over the country now that I
Hmm.
didn't have before,
Hmm.
and definitely, definitely worth it. And you make it very easy to make it worth it.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are very kind words. Jenny, your turn. What would you say to people who are just making the decision? Is it worth it? What should they be? Yeah, what would you say to them?
Sure, it's 100% worth it. And, you know, owning your own business is not for the weak of heart, that is for sure. There are ups and downs. The highs are really high, the lows can be really low, and having people that have your back, that you can say, just like you said earlier, somebody was mean to me at a show, the things that people say to you sometimes are just nutty, right? People say random stuff, and one day it'll go right off your shoulder, no problem. The next day it'll fester in your mind, and you can put a little comment in Facebook, and everybody has your back and says, oh, I had the same thing and whatever else, and you feel so much better. And you can start the day fresh and say, it's not just me, I didn't do anything wrong, this is normal. So I think that that's huge. Like everyone else has said, there's just a lot of value in the group, in the connections that you make. And truly, you're business of one, right? Maybe you have family members that help, maybe you have friends, but most of us are a business of one for the most part. And it can feel lonely to run a business sometimes. And this gives you that family feel.
Yes. I think entrepreneurship in general in the world is a very lonely place because I've talked before about like all the circles of people who use soap and make soap and want a business and actually make a business. And then there's the people who are like you're in this little bitty circle in the middle. And even talking to your friends about what you do, like sometimes they just kind of go, "You do what? What is this? You don't work for
Hmm.
somebody, and it's really hard to have a real conversation about your business with most other people. Maybe you're, the people closest to you probably they know what you're doing, but outside of that, it can feel lonely really fast. And to have a spot like this where you just say, you know what, I was at a show and the vendor next to me, what like the Mary Kay lady was right next to me. What is the show organizer thinking? And all of a sudden you've got a whole screen full of people who are like, I get it. Yeah, I was right next to this other. I mean, they put both goat milk soap people right next to me. I mean, whatever the issue is, you've got people who understand immediately. And being in that group, even just for that value alone, is so huge because the minute you start to put your product and yourself out there, there's stuff that happens on the inside that is unexpected. And all of a sudden you start to say, who am I? Who am I? Who am I to do any of this? And to have other people in your corner cheering you on really, really has a lot of value.
100% true.
Absolutely. All right, one other question in here that I think I have to answer. She says, could you talk about the retreat a little? This is still in the brainstorming phase, so I can tell you what we're thinking about. I can't commit to anything yet, but we are going to have an in-person people who have done either the VIP package or the alumni package retreat. We are going to it's going to be a live in-person thing. And what we have been thinking is that, like like Cindy said, there is something magical about being in the same space with other people who maybe you've only seen on screen before. So we're going to offer this just to the VIP package or the alumni VIP package people. And we're going to get together. It's going to be part learning. We're going to find some pieces to talk about with learning. We want it to also be part like a workspace. I don't know about you, but I find that I can get so much more done at the coffee shop than I can at home some days, right? Because you've got so much distraction. So if we can do some learning and then also have some implementation time along with finding some great food and having some fun time to just enjoy and plenty of time to just sit and chat. That's like my idea of a perfect retreat is let's learn a little, give me some work time because if I don't implement it here, I'm gonna forget it by the time I get home. And then let's go out for supper and let's have a great evening. That's like my definition of a perfect retreat. So that's what we want to provide for you. We don't have a location yet, although we're exploring like some other retreat centers and things that would be a little bit bigger, so we can have all enough space for all of us. But that's the goal, and I can't really give you more than that because we're still trying to figure out what that is. I don't know that it's going to be in Iowa. That's where I am. So we're gonna look for a different spot, but we'll let you know more as there's more details come out. Panis is asking what packages receive the discount. The gold and the VIP and the VIP alumni. So those three get the discount from today. All right, one other thing. Um, Debbie is saying, thank you all. I want my kids to be proud of their old mama. Oh, soap is a wonderful thing for me. I also have a successful business that would enable me to make money for my family and my rescue animals. Yeah, that'd be great. I would not give it up for anything. The horses and the other animals keep me grounded and humble. Hoping everyone had a good night. Yes, I think, and I've said this before too, but I feel like my story was that I knew my homeschooling career was coming to an end and I wanted something for me. But I also feel like any kids of any age looking at their parent and saying, gosh, she finished this one thing and she just dove into this next. And look at all the fun that she's having, and just it's just something new and fresh, and maybe even something that's for you. That was my big thing, was I had done so much that was for my kids that I had almost forgotten that I needed stuff too. And this was a for me thing. And gosh, that made me like dig my teeth in like a bulldog. Like, I am not letting go of this. This is going to happen because this is my thing for me. So, okay. Awesome. I think the chat is just kind of people making dates either to have dinner or to pass goats around. Whichever, that all works. Whatever you need to do with your friends, totally fine. Okay, unless there's any other questions, I think we are good tonight. Remember the gold, the VIP alumni, that $200 discount is good for today. The coupon code is Saturday only. And I think the link is in the chat. Does anybody need the link yet? Need that code? I'm assuming you grabbed it as it kind of went by. All right. Otherwise, you have an email today with all of that as well, so you can check that as well. And if you got the Sassy Soapers email with the spot that said click here that didn't go anywhere, I fixed that. I sent that out a little bit ago. So, so if you need to click here, if you know it, if you know, you know, and if you don't worry about it. All right. Awesome. Thanks for being here, everybody. We have one more call tomorrow night. We're just going to do another Q&A. Andrea and I are both going to be here on the spot to answer questions about either Lather to Launch or Build Your Business. Just any questions you have about those programs. We're here to answer those and just any other questions you've got. So one more call, one more bonus call tomorrow night, and then the cart closes on our business packages Monday night at midnight. So hope to see you all tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody.